Start.
Hi, this is Beth. I'm happy to be here to present a chair yoga class for West End Yoga. I'm keeping it real. I'm keeping it in the confines of my own home. This is my family room. You may see my cat walking back and forth. My husband is the cameraman, and I'm doing it here because we are actually observing and practicing social distancing, and I'm hoping everybody's keeping safe. While we're here, one of the things I wanted to mention was that when we do yoga at home, you may not have those yoga props that you have such nice access to in our classes. So we're going to substitute. While I have accessibility to all the props here in my house, I think it's only fair for me to use the props that you might be able to use at your own home. If you have a tennis ball or some kind of a ball, this is what we're going to use under the feet. If you don't, if you have a bottle of water, you can use that under the feet just to roll, and you're not going to be able to roll it around the feet, but you can roll it over the feet when we work the feet a little bit later on here. Instead of a block or a blanket, we're going to use a towel. Now I happen to have a beach towel, and I have it rolled so that we're going to use that as a block at some point during the practice. So I'm going to put them down by my side, and we're going to start with a relaxation. And as you, and so everybody in your sitting on their chairs, slide yourself back so that you find your hips back against the back of the chair. Now, you've heard me say this so many times. We sit on a chair and not in a chair. And there is a difference. If you think about those two different little prepositions, sitting on a chair is what I want you to think about. And so we're going to press down through those feet. We're going to press down through those sit bones. We'll review that shortly here. And then let's just basically lean. We're going to lean back into the chair. Now the chair is a little bit of a round back, so we don't want to collapse those shoulders. So we're going to lift the shoulders up by the ears, roll them down the back, let the shoulder blades come together in the back, and the hands down on your lap. As you lean back against the chair, sense the quiet attentiveness. So there is a little bit of effort as you lift up from the base of the spine and you press down through those feet, but it shouldn't be so uncomfortable. And then gently, if it's comfortable for you, take a soft gaze towards the floor or close the eyes completely as we start with relaxation, and we start with working on the breath, or pranayama. So gently become aware of your whole body sitting on the chair in the space where you are in this moment. It is the only moment that matters. And then begin to sense your feet on the floor, maybe even sense the earth beneath your feet. And then just traveling up in your mind all the way up to the knees, and where the chair and your body start to connect, and all the way back to the sit bones. And then notice where your chair connects with your back and where the chair doesn't connect with the back, and it is your own strength that's holding you in the chair. And notice your own strength lifting you up. And then as you move inward, scan through your body from your head to your toes on your own, and notice any places in your body where you might be holding tension. And is it possible for you to create a little more space, even to relax those areas, and giving yourself permission to just simply release and let go? And then become aware of your breath. Perhaps that first notice, you just watch the breath, where it lands in your body on that inhale and on that exhale. You watch it leave. And then begin to deepen the breath. So when you deepen the breath, you're drawing it all the way down to the base of the lungs. Let the belly rise with that inhale and fall with your exhale. Nice, full, complete breaths. Drawing the breath in through the nose, expanding the abdomen, and exhaling through the nose. full, deep, and complete breaths. And we'll stay with this belly breath for several rounds. Watch the inhales, or maybe feel the expansion and the contraction. Maybe even that tactile sense of the temperature of the air as it flows through your nostrils. Whatever is easiest for your attention to stay with, stay right there. Let's just take about 2 more rounds of this belly breathing, watching the belly rise and fall, or that sense of air traveling through your nose, changing temperature. And then gently bring some slow awareness back to your feet. Maybe start with wiggling your toes, or maybe even wiggling those fingers. The shoulders, perhaps rolling them a couple of times. And then gently begin to rock side to side. And as you rock side to side, begin to walk away from the back of your chair. And feel free to open your eyes at this point or keep them closed so that whenever you come to the place where you're halfway to the back and halfway to the front of your chair, you're sitting in seated mountain pose. And we're going to review that. Seated mountain pose. Let's look down. Make sure you can see the knees and the ankles in alignment. So you should see a little bit of toes as you peek out over your knees. Let's lift the toes. Let's spread them wide and let's press down underneath the big toe mound on the outside of the heel, and then press down on the inside, on the outside of the little toe. Now, sense the muscles beginning to engage. And as you continue that journey, notice up all the way to those sit bones, those bones right at the base of those hip bones. You want to just begin to find that equal weight across those hips. Gentle rock from side to side, and then gently pause. We want to find those sit bones. So reach behind you, find those bones in one hip. Pull back, and then find the other bone in the other hip and pull back. And you may notice that you really feel that difference sitting down and you're sitting on the chair. Now, what will it take for you to get a little bit taller? So notice what it is that you need to do to adjust your body. Perhaps the core begins to engage for you. Perhaps that spine begins to lengthen. And let's make sure as that spine begins to lengthen, you have a little gentle curve, but not a curve that's going to press your chest forward. So you want to lengthen that spine up, the head up towards the ceiling. Let's lift the shoulders, roll them down the spine, draw the shoulder blades together. Now we're in seated mountain pose. So we're going to start with warming up the smaller joints of our hands, something we don't yet generally do on the mat, but I like to use this in our chair yoga classes. So we're going to start with the hands. So let's just rub those hands together. Begin to feel the warmth gathering in those hands. And let's just open the hands and notice the color of the hands. And we're going to begin to warm up those joints. So let's do this carefully. We're going to tap 18 times. Normally it's 18 is normally is 36, but just for brevity's sakes, we're going to cut that in half. So we're going to start tapping on those wrists. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Now we're going to tap the sides of the hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 16, 17, and 18. Now we're going to tap this bone. This is a very tender bone in some people, so let's just tap carefully. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And now we're going to tap the back of our left hand with the right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Flip the hand over, left hand on top of the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Now we're going to take that right fist and we're going to take it and tap or pound into the left hand gently and carefully, but you should still hear it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 16, 17, 18. Right hand, left fist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Last places where we're going to get is between the fingers and the thumb. So we're going to open up between the index finger and the thumb and tap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Now we're going to tap between the fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oops, sorry about that. Now we're going to go the non-dominant way. This is the last tapping. We're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And let's stop and take a look at the hands and actually feel if you can sense a difference in how those hands feeling. Can you feel a little bit of tingling? Can you feel energy moving through those hands? This is really good for those joints that get a little achy and sore as we age. And we're going to work on the feet a little bit. So if you have that tennis ball, if you happen, or you have a bottle, we're simply going to take that ball or a bottle and we're going to place it under. And the bottle, if it's a water bottle, you want to make sure that the lid is secure and that it's not a flimsy bottle because you can press too hard. We're simply going to roll the ball around on our feet, or you're going to roll that bottle back and forth. Oops. Yes, it does escape. And we have a cat that wants to chase this ball here. She's watching carefully here. So just roll it and roll it around in a couple of different ways. We're not going to stay too long with this because I actually want to get into moving some of the larger joints and the muscles in our body. Now let's switch that ball to the opposite side. See if you can control that ball a little better than I did this last flip. Yes, Palma wants this ball, I believe. She's watching closely. And then let's just pause. I'm going to kick that out so she can chase the ball, maybe. So let's find your way into that seated mountain pose. And notice if anything has changed for you. Notice whether or not you have lost that seated mountain pose. And so seated mountain pose is probably the most important pose that I find in chair yoga. So you're sitting on the chair, lengthening that spine, and let's start with opening up or working on the neck. So simply drop your left hand to the floor, let that right ear come over to the right shoulder, and bring your hand up if that feels okay. And if not, just let that head tip. You're still going to get that same sense. Now we're not pulling, we're letting the hand just simply be weight. And breathe, just as you were breathing in that deep belly breath. Breathing into the stretch on the left side of your neck. I'm going to take one more full, complete breath. And inhale the head up through center. Release the hand. We're going to take it to the opposite side, left ear to the left shoulder. If it feels okay, take that left hand up, let it rest on the side of your head, and breathe. He's your yoga entertainment for tonight. Inhale those arms up overhead. Hands come to the heart center. Inhale, arms up overhead, and let those hands come to the heart center. And then gently, once again, let the left hand just rest by your side. Inhale that right arm up and turn the palm up on at that shoulder. Begin to lengthen up, reach up, and gently find yourself into a side stretch. Stretch gently and carefully. And then gently ease yourself all the way back up out of that pose. And let's take it to the other side. The left arm comes up, turn the palm up at the shoulder, and then lengthen up and come into your side stretch. Again, keep it gentle. Maybe not go to the full stretch that you can do, but keep it careful. Be kind to yourself. Gently find your way back out of that pose and find your way back into your seated mountain pose. Bring your hands to to your knees and lean a little forward. And let's start those cows and cat rounds. We're going to arch into the spine and round the spine. So we come into that cow sway back, and then we're going to come into that angry cat back. Arching and rounding. Keeping that spine fluid, keeping it moving. And then one more cat back here. Find yourself into that flat back, press off, rise up, find yourself back into that seated mountain pose here. Inhale, arms up overhead, and exhale, hands come to the heart. Inhale, arms up overhead, and hands come to the heart center. Take your right hand on the chair behind you, your left hand on the thigh. Now, for those of you who have lower back problems, this twist should be taken very gently. So take a nice long inhale, and as you exhale, perhaps if you have a back that's a little ouchy, only take your twist so that you're looking out over that right knee. If your lower back feels okay, lengthen the spine on that exhale. Maybe you're now going to twist a little bit more. And this is just about where you should stay right now. We might come into some deeper twists later, but just stay right here and breathe. And then gently release. And notice as we come into these poses whether or not you are still pressing down through those feet and still lengthening up. So let's inhale those arms up overhead, and exhale, the hands come to the heart center. Now, left hand goes behind your hip. Press down into your chair, right hand across the thigh, lengthen the spine, and once again, attentiveness to that lower spine. That inhale and exhale. Twist gently or come into a little bit more of that twist. Maybe not the complete twist that you could do, or if you feel like you want to take it a little deeper, that is your decision. Gently release from that twist, come back to center. Notice if those legs have shifted. If they're a little loose for you, you really want to press down, engage those muscles, and lengthen up. Inhale those arms up overhead, and exhale, hands come to the heart center. This time, as we inhale those arms up overhead, as you exhale, we're going to fold forward and then just place your arms right on your thighs. In fact, let's take the hands instead of the arms, place them on the thighs. We're going to lengthen the spine. We're going to turn the elbows out, lengthen the spine, and then we're going to inhale that left arm out. And as you exhale, you're going to thread it underneath the right arm. If the lower back hurts, this is all that I want, that is going to be as where you should be. If you like that a little bit deeper, lengthen that spine, slide that arm down, and then twist a little bit more. Notice what works for you. Find your way back out of that twist. Lengthen the spine, hinge forward at the hips, and inhale that right arm out. Slide it under. Take it to where it feels right for your spine. This might be exactly where you need to be. Stay right there and breathe. Make sure both feet are rooted to the floor. Inhale, as you come back to center, press off, rise up. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, hands come to the heart center. And just simply pause. Now this is where we're going to take the prop that we've made, a rolled up towel. Work a little bit with the core. Let's take this towel, slide yourself out to the edge of the chair so that your sit bones are right at the edge of the chair. I'm going to take that towel. I'm going to press down. Again, let's open those feet, press down. I'm going to make sure knees and ankles are in alignment. And we're going to lengthen up from the base of the spine. So you want to find those sit bones. So if you can't tell where they are, always reach back, pull them out, press down, lengthen up. Squeeze the thighs together. And then see what happens if you can think about getting taller. Lengthen up from the base of the spine through the crown of the head. Yeah, just squeezing this block together. Now we're going to take it into seated chair pose. So for those who do your mat class, this is Uttasana, or sorry. I'm not very good with my Sanskrit name. This is our chair pose, in the chair, seated chair pose. Let's lengthen the spine, hinge forward slightly at the hips. And as you do, squeeze that block together and lengthen that spine. This might be exactly enough for you to be today. You might find those muscles starting to fire. If you want a little more energy in it, bring the hands to the heart. That might feel good, and press. Open up across the shoulders. If you want a little bit more energy into that, lift those arms up, gazing up. Notice how the energy begins to flow a little bit more, and you should feel the muscles firing here. Inhale, lengthen up, release the hands. I'm going to do that one more time. Your choices are to sit and simply squeeze this block together, lengthening the spine, hinge forward here at the hips, or bring your hands here, or lift up. Press strongly into those feet, lengthen up from the base of the spine. It could almost be as if you could lift yourself from the chair. Don't try this because you can't when your feet are right underneath your knees. Release the hands. Inhale those arms up overhead and exhale them. Just bring them down to the side. I'm going to bring these back. So probably one of the hardest poses I find on the chair is coming into boat pose on my chair, not on my mat. So we're simply going to just practice here. We're going to lengthen the spine, lean back towards the back of the chair. Use the chair to press your hands and then lift the feet. Squeeze, hold, squeeze, release. Again, lean back, squeeze, lift up, gently release. Now, if you want to, you can either hold that block, or if you contain what it feels like in those muscles, release the block, place it down by your side, lengthen the spine, engage the muscles, let them fire, and lean back. Maybe lean back a little bit more. Maybe lengthen the legs out a little bit more. Only to where it feels right for you. And then bring those knees back down underneath you. Shake it all out. My bet is that feels pretty good, just simply to release. Let's step those feet out wide. We're going to come into our goddess pose here. So step the feet out about the width of your chair. You might be able to step them wider, but once again, the chair yoga class is a little bit more gentle than your mat classes. We're going to press down into those feet. We're still not losing that strength at the lower part of our body. Lengthen up. Inhale those arms up overhead. Let's bring the hands to the heart center, and then let's open those arms into the cactus arms. As you press down through those feet, again, it's that sense of like you can almost lift your body off the chair. And again, we're not going to do that. Not in that right position yet. Lengthen that spine and draw the shoulder blades back towards one another. And we're going to take it out into our starfish pose. So begin to slide those feet out, lift the toes up, lengthen those arms out, stretch the body. nice deep inhale. And on that exhale, bring your feet back. Press down to those feet, lengthen up. Let's do one more starfish. Inhale, lengthen out, stretch up. And find your way back into your goddess pose. Release the hands. Lengthen that spine. Inhale those arms up overhead and then walk those feet back in front of you. Let's do one more thing with the lower body and then we'll stand up and do some stretching. So let's pick up your right leg. And as you do, we're just simply going to rock it from side to side. Maybe draw some circles if that feels okay. Draw those circles in the opposite direction. Then as you pause, you want to lengthen that spine up. And if it feels okay, turn your hand, hold your right leg in the right hand. Now as you hinge forward, you want to hinge, not round that back, and lift up that right ankle. Maybe you can lift it up that right foot. Rock that leg like you were rocking a baby. Lengthen the spine. Inhale up, lengthen, and draw that leg in a little bit closer to your body if that feels okay. Now for those of you who have a little bit tighter hip, it is perfectly okay for you to hold this leg and rock it from side to side, knee turned out. If it feels okay, you're going to lift that leg, lift that foot, and then cross it over, press the knee down towards the floor. And again, I honor that everybody has a different flexibility in their hips. So if that doesn't feel okay, slide your leg out, press the knee down towards the floor. Maybe that doesn't work for you, and perhaps it's really sore in those hips, so you take the foot right by your other foot, or even cross it over, and then press the knee down. So this is a little bit of the same sensation, and you're still getting that same opening in the hip. A little more intense the deeper you take it, but your body, your yoga. Press the knee down towards the floor. A little more intensity might be to hinge and lean into it. Keep your breath flowing. This is really important. And then gently ease yourself back out of that pose. Lift the leg, place it on the floor, and we'll take the opposite leg. Press down in that right foot first, lift the leg, and then gently begin to rock it from side to side. And then turn that knee, hold on to the left knee, rock it if this is where it feels good for you, or reach down, grab the foot, lengthen, rock it. If it's possible, take a nice deep inhale, lift that leg a little bit closer to your body, and then plant that ankle right across the thigh. Press the knee down towards the floor. The real reason I have the ball here is for the cat to play. Hinge forward at the hips. Maybe press in if you want that little bit more intensity. And remember, maybe your hip on this side is not as flexible as the other, and take it to your level. Now gently take that, reach underneath the thigh, lift it up, plant the soles of the feet on the floor. Let's just shake it out. There's a whole lot more that we can do, and at some point I'll do a different video for you. Hopefully we won't be doing virtual yoga too long, but what we're going to do is come onto our feet and come to the back of our chair. So I'm going to step forward off and bring the chair behind or in front of us. Make sure you have enough room behind you. So we're going to do some stretching of our spine with the downward dog. So you want to find your feet maybe about a foot away from the back of your chair. So alignment in your standing mountain pose is we're missing our lap and we're rooting down through those feet, not the sit bones. But we want to make sure that when we get to, we're going to soften in those knees, and when we get up to those hips, we're going to drop the tailbone towards the floor. And what does it take for you to get taller, just as you were in the chair? Can you feel the muscles of the core begin to engage? Can you lengthen that head up towards the ceiling? Let's inhale those arms up overhead, and exhale, hands come to the heart center. Release the hands. Let that right hand simply rest down by the side. Inhale the left arm up just as we did on the chair. We're going to come into a side stretch, lengthen up, and find your way into that side stretch. Maybe it's a little bit deeper than on the chair. Maybe it's just a soft. Inhale as you come back up through center. Take the right hand, turn the palm up at the shoulder, and then find your way into that side stretch. As you come back to center, inhale those arms up overhead. Let's clasp them together, bring them behind your head. Lift up, come into a little back bend from the heart, and rest the head in the hands. And then gently release. Release the hands to the side. Take the hands on your chair. Step yourself back. We're going to come into our downward dog. So let's start the hands right at the top of the chair. As you begin to lean back, you want to create a square with your body. You want to bend softly into the knees and bring your weight back towards your heels. So let's work on that spine first before we work on the shoulders. We want to press back through those heels. Lengthen the spine. And then begin to slide your hands slightly down the chair so you can begin to feel an opening in the shoulders, maybe even a little bit of a back bend here. And relax the head. And breathe. And now gently walk yourself all the way back up. Find your way into your standing mountain pose. As you come into that standing mountain pose, establish that strong standing posture as you inhale, arms up overhead. And exhale, hands come to the heart center. We're going to stretch into our back one more time in our supported downward dog. Stepping yourself back, finding your way into that downward dog. Feel that good stretch. Imagine that we have 72 vertebrae, so I like to imagine that we're creating space in between every vertebrae of our back. And then gently walk yourself all the way back up, find your way into your standing mountain pose. We're going to come into lunge or our warrior one. As we stand here. I'll use the chair the next time we do this, but I want to come into some standing poses and then close. So stand in your mountain pose. Begin to shift your weight to the left foot. Let that right foot get soft and light. Step back with that right foot. You can go as deep as you want in this lunge. I like to press my foot all the way back down. This is our warrior one. Bend into that front knee. Knee and ankle are in alignment. Hips are facing the chair. Hands come to the chair. Press strongly into those feet. So really feel that you are pressing that energy down through the feet. Hold on to the back of the chair and let's press up and see if you can feel the lightness in the upper part of your body. Shoulders moving back towards one another. You may keep your hands here. Or if you really feel that you are stable and strong and you feel that two different directions of pressing down and lengthening up, bring your hands to your heart and breathe. Let's gently release. Take the weight in the left foot, step up with that right foot, pause for a moment. Begin to root down through that right foot. Lift up on the left foot and step back and repeat on the opposite side. Press down through those feet, lengthen up through the upper part of your body, align your hips, and then bring your hands to your heart if that feels okay, or keep the hands right on the chair. Gently find your way back into your standing mountain pose. One balance pose before we come back to the chair. Step off to the side of your chair. I'm stepping off to the right side of my chair. It will be I'm stepping off to the left side of my chair. It will be my right foot that I'm going to use as what I call the pedestal foot. This is going to be the foot that's going to ground down. We're going to come into tree pose. So find a focal point. Begin to shift the weight over to your right foot, the foot that's closest to your chair. You can use the chair for balancing. And then begin to take that weight and then lift the left foot. Left foot can be right at the ankle. Maybe even step out a little bit further, but you take that foot and then perhaps you can lift it up a little bit more. Maybe you can release the hands, bring them to your heart. Or keep one hand on the chair. Or go back and forth. Gently release, let's step through those feet. And then step over to the opposite side of your chair. So now my left leg is close to the chair. And I'm going to begin to root down through that left foot. I'm going to find a focal point. I'm going to repeat exactly what I did on the opposite side. So get nice and long and tall. Draw the energy in and up. Lighten up on that foot that's going to lift. You can either place it where it feels right for you. Keep your hands on the chair till you feel that sense of stability. Stay here or play with the balance. Release the foot to the floor. Let's step through our feet. Let's step to the back of the chair and stretch your spine one more time. And then walk yourself all the way back up to the front of the chair. And then find your way to your seat again. I'm going to pull my chair back. And find your way and sit on your chair. Come into your seated mountain pose, finding your way again so that you have space behind you and you're securely planted on the chair. Make sure knees and ankle, make sure that you're coming back into that seated mountain pose, and make sure that you are lengthening from the base of your spine. Notice what it takes for you to get taller. Notice how it feels to be strong in your seated mountain pose. Inhale those arms up overhead. And exhale, hands come to the heart center. Let's do that one more time. Inhale those arms up overhead. And exhale, hands come to the heart center. Let's walk ourselves a little more forward to the front of the chair. Let's come into a little bit of a deeper back bend than we have done the rest of the evening. So let's bring the hands to the back of your chair. As you do, you want to lengthen up from the base of the spine. As you begin to lean back, you're going to already begin to feel that little bit of arch in the back. But lift up from the base of the spine. You're going to it's almost as if there's a little bit of you're starting from the base of the spine and lifting up from the base and moving up every vertebrae until you come up into that open heart. Shoulder blades move back towards one another. Now the head never falls back. It's hard on the neck. So as if you had a piece of fruit you're holding between your chin and your chest. Really want to press that heart up. Lift up, get longer. Breathe into the front of that body. And now as you release, we're going to come into a forward fold. One I actually love is take your hands over your abdomen. Gently fold into this. We're supporting that middle back. Release. Just hang out here and breathe. Gently begin to roll yourself all the way back up. One more time. One more back bend. Press down through those sit bones. Lengthen up from the base of the spine. As you come up into the shoulders, shoulder blades come back towards one another. Now as you release, remember which arm was in front. You're going to take the opposite arm. And now you're going to roll forward, come into your forward fold. And breathe. And we're not squeezing the abdomen. We're simply just using this as a support. And then gently roll yourself all the way back up. Hello again. Walk yourself back to the back of the chair. And again, find your way into that comfortable seated pose. There's a quiet attentiveness, and we're going to begin to cool the practice down, come into a final meditation. So lean yourself back against the chair. If you happen to have those yoga props and you know how to come into that child pose, feel free to do that. But for tonight, I'm simply going to suggest that same pose as you started in the beginning. Relax the back against the back of the chair, but don't let that whole body come into the slump asana. That's easy for us to do. And then again, notice the feet. Notice the places where your body is touching the floor, the chair. And notice the places where your body is not engaged with the chair or the floor. Maybe sense the texture of the clothing on your skin, the feel of the air on your skin. And then just begin to focus on your breath. See if you can let the breath move into a place of balance for you. And if an imagery works, imagine that inhale as a nice wave rolling in, drawing in all that calm, all that freshness. And when you exhale, exhaling out the last bits of tension, the last bits of things that get in your way of being calm. And again, as you inhale, imagine that wave washing through you and over you. And when you exhale, releasing any leftover tensions. If this image works for you, perhaps you stay with that image. Perhaps you just follow your breath and let it lead you into a sense of peace and calm. Being here in this moment, all that matters. Begin to bring that awareness back as you deepen your breath. And begin to invite some small movements back in, wiggling fingers or your toes. Maybe adding some larger movements, perhaps a full body stretch from one side and then the other. And noticing the body just starting to move, maybe even rocking a little from side to side. And walk yourself away from the back of the chair till you find yourself back in the middle of the seat. And then Inhale your arms up overhead. And exhale the hands to the heart center. May you be well. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be filled with peace and harmony. Namaste.